So it's official. Canelo Alvarez will fight Dmitry Bivol on May 7th and will face Gennady Golovkin on September 17th. The deal is worth $85 million and it will be not on DAZN subscription. It will be on DAZN pay-per-view. Even though Eddie Hearn said pay-per-view is dead, we will not go to pay-per-view. So now they want us to pay the $20 per month subscription for regular boxing. And then on top of that, $70 to $100 for the Canelo fights. Dmitry Bivol has already signed his part of the contract. Gennady Golovkin still has not signed it. So, Canelo Alvarez has opted to fight Dmitry Bivol and Gennady Golovkin over Jermall Charlo and David Benavidez. Who's a harder fight, Golovkin or Charlo at this point? I think anyone with any type of common sense would say Charlo. They basically have the same style, except one is younger, fresher, stronger, possibly more explosive. No, he's more explosive. Doesn't hit as hard, but he's more explosive. On the other side, you got who's a harder fight, David Benavidez or Dmitry Bivol? I don't even think it's up for debate. David Benavidez is a much harder fight. Even if, let's say, Canelo has a better chance at beating Benavidez, that's the harder fight. That's the fight where Canelo is going to take the more damage. What's the worst case scenario against Dmitry Bivol? He loses a decision. What's the worst case scenario against David Benavidez? He goes into premature retirement. David Benavidez just gives him the beating of his life so bad as a boxing superstar he cannot come back from it. And that's it. He hangs up the gloves. That's the worst case scenario for David Benavidez. The worst case scenario in Bivol, even though I've said several times, it's a tricky fight. Very tricky fight. But Bivol cannot hurt Canelo. And obviously cannot put the type of beating that Benavidez could put on Canelo. Benavidez, if you're right there in front of him, he will launch. Canelo is going to have to be on the run for 12 rounds to win that fight. It's a winnable fight. If he targets the body, continues to find the back foot, you have to run at some points because Benavidez will be after you, especially early in that fight, until you break down his body. And maybe you can get him out of there late in the fight. It's a winnable fight. It's not like it's an impossible fight to win for Canelo. But I see more ways for Benavidez winning that fight than for Canelo winning that fight. Can't see Canelo really doing other than that. Just throw combos to the body off the back foot and just try to survive the first half of the fight with hopes of Benavidez slowing down, which he won't. So you got to keep it up. Canelo's going to have to do lots of road work for that fight. Where Bivol, it's more of a thinking fight. He's just going to have to look for the perfect shots against Bivol. And I think right now we're watching the Joe Smith Jr. fight where Bivol was hurt badly. I think Canelo stops him at one point. Don't know when the stop will come. The stoppage could come anywhere between around 7 and 12. I guess Golovkin, really depends what Golovkin has when he fights Raya Murata in April. But I could see him also stopping Golovkin mid-rounds, between rounds 5 and 8. I don't see him stopping Charlo or Benavidez. As I said, he could possibly stop Benavidez due to acclimation, due to a sustained body attack, but he's not going to stop him. He's not going to knock him out to the head. That's not going to happen. I don't see him stopping Charlo either. Charlo's just too strong, too explosive, too fast. I see him in possibly every round against Charlo, but I don't see him stopping Charlo. So he obviously chose the much easier package that had less money too. And DAZN is no longer going the subscription route. It's going to be pay-per-view. When they couldn't get the Premier League rights, I knew their business was in trouble if they don't do a big shakeup. And they're putting all their cards into one basket, expecting the Golovkin fight to bring in lots of money. The Golovkin fight, I'd be shocked if it broke $1 million at this point, because people have completely forgotten about Golovkin. And Golovkin's build-up fight to this fight is not going to be in Madison Square Garden or in the MGM Grand Arena. No, it's going to be in Japan. It might be a big money fight, but it's not going to build up the Canelo fight. It's not like Golovkin's going to rematch Jacobs in the Madison Square Garden. It's not going to happen. Even if Jacobs is coming off loss, that would still do big numbers. People would tune in. A lot of people thought Jacobs won that fight. And I think Jacobs has regressed more than Golovkin at this point. I think Golovkin could stop Jacobs. Jacobs was hurt very badly against a not that hard of a puncher, John Ryder, in round 8. People are underplaying that, or maybe people didn't notice. Rewatch that in round 8. Jacobs was hurt badly. Golovkin could probably knock him out at this point. Yeah. What's his face? Canelo's going to fight Bivol on May 7, and will fight Golovkin on September 17. As many of you know, I am part of the people that think that Benavidez is the toughest test for Canelo Alvarez. And I would slightly favor Benavidez. I have Canelo as a firm favorite. Like, if you put, like, Canelo versus Bivol and Golovkin, if, like, Canelo versus the field, I'd put him as a 2-1 favorite. I don't see either one beating them. But Canelo versus the field and Charlo versus Benavidez, I'd have it more like 60-40 to the field. Like a slight edge to the field. Possibly one of Benavidez or Charlo would beat him. That seems likely. Golovkin or Bivol beating him, that does not seem likely. I don't see Golovkin as a shot. I could see Bivol outboxing him. Would he get the decision in Las Vegas? I don't think so. Because I thought Billy Joe Saunders was outpointing Canelo prior to the stoppage, but all 3 judges had Canelo firmly ahead. So I don't know. Bivol's probably going to have to put a beating on Canelo, which he is not capable of. Benavidez was capable of the beating, and I think Benavidez, as a fellow Mexican, would get the nod. And one more thing. Other than no, not really. Has he ever fought an elite Mexican fighter? Never. Many people probably say Josecito Lopez, Alfonso Gomez, Miguel Vasquez, who had a draw with him early in his career. Miguel Vasquez, the same Miguel Vasquez that's a super featherweight and a lightweight, the same one, had a draw with Canelo very early in Canelo's career, and Alfredo Angelo. So, no elite Mexicans. The first elite Mexican Canelo is seeming to shy away from. Maybe it's the Amir Khan syndrome, where Amir Khan did not want to fight Kell Brook. Afraid. Amir Khan was not afraid to lose to Canelo, Crawford, all those guys, but he didn't want to lose to a Brit. Maybe Canelo says, Bivol might outbox me, Golovkin might knock me out, but I do not want to lose to a Mexican. And he said before, I don't want to fight fellow Mexicans. He fought Chavez Jr., who's really a farce. Anderson Silva beat him more clearly than Canelo. He quit against Danny Jacobs in 5 rounds. It's bizarre. Chavez is a really bizarre case. Now, I don't want to make this video too long. It's already longer than I anticipated. But Canelo will fight Bivol on May 7 and will fight Golovkin on September 17 should he beat Bivol. My understanding is if Bivol does manage to win, he will get the slot on September 17, Bivol versus Canelo 2. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Sadiq Boxing out.